Don't lose your hands with them. Put it on.
Tom Aspinall just dropped a bombshell message to Ciryl Gane ahead of their UFC 321 title clash, claiming he holds one major advantage that could change everything. Alexander Volkov, who's fought both men, just gave his prediction. All right, let's start with the champion himself, Tom Aspinall. The British heavyweight is set to defend his title for the first time as the undisputed champion at UFC 321 in Abu Dhabi on October 25th, and he just revealed what he believes is his biggest advantage over not just Ciryl Gane, but the entire heavyweight division.
I think if I hit anybody, I can knock anybody out. And I think that Ciryl is no exception, but obviously there are some weaknesses in his ground game that we've seen, but I'm sure he's improved. Do you know what I mean? This is an MMA fight. It can go anywhere, so I'm sure we'll both be ready for anything.
Aspinall claims that because his fights end so quickly, we're talking an average fight time of just over 2 minutes. His opponents have barely any footage to study. Think about that. This is his 10th UFC fight, but he says people have only seen 10 to 20% of what he can actually do. In his own words, if I can go through my career and nobody is seeing me do anything, that's ideal for me because each long fight, the opponent gets to see more and more. Right now, I've got a lot of UFC fights, but people have only seen 10 to 20% of what I can actually do. And that is just a massive advantage.
Ciryl tweeted that he thinks you should be careful what you wish for, and he'll see you in Paris. How do you think you match up against Ciryl?
I better be careful, apparently. Yeah. I think I match up pretty well against him. I think I'm equally as fast as him. I move equally as well. The difference is I can grapple. I've got a lot of power. And I think that's pretty undeniable at this stage of my career. I've got a lot of knockouts on my record, mate. I have to touch you once, and I wasn't even throwing heavy tonight. I thought it was going to be a 5-rounder. I didn't mean to knock him out. I was pretty sure that that was going to be a 5-round fight tonight, and just takes one shot, mate, at heavyweight, especially with me throwing him.
Let's put this in perspective. Aspinall needed just 60 seconds to destroy Curtis Blades in their rematch last summer. 60 seconds. That's not even enough time to grab a beer from the fridge. So while guys like Ciryl Gane have hours of footage showing their techniques, patterns, and habits, Aspinall is basically a mystery wrapped in an enigma. That's terrifying for any opponent. But wait, it gets better, because Aspinall isn't just talking strategy, he's playing mind games with Gane. And honestly, it's pretty savage. Ciryl Gane recently appeared in 2 movies, KO, which came out this summer, and Den of Thieves 2 with Gerard Butler at the beginning of the year. Now, there's nothing wrong with fighters expanding their brand, right? Well, Aspinall thinks otherwise. The British champion took a shot at Gane's commitment, saying, and I quote, "I wouldn't do a Netflix documentary for $50 million while I'm still actively fighting. No chance you couldn't pay me enough money to do it. I'm 100% committed to my craft. 100%, $50 million. And he'd turn it down. That's the level of dedication we're talking about here. Aspinall is basically saying, while you were on movie sets, I was in the gym preparing to destroy you. That's the championship mentality right there, folks. But is it just talk? Or does Gane have something to prove? We'll find out in less than 2 weeks. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. Alexander Volkov, the number 2 ranked heavyweight contender, has fought both Aspinall and Gane, so he's got the inside scoop, the first-hand experience, the knowledge that nobody else has. And his prediction? It's complicated. Volkov calls it a straight-up 50-50 fight. He acknowledges that Gane has incredible movement, great legwork, and has dramatically improved his grappling game. But, and this is the key, when asked who looks better, Volkov said, and I quote, "On paper, when I fought both of them, Tom Aspinall looks better."
50-50, I think. 50-50.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Both of them are good, and Ciryl Gane he's really good on his movement, on his legs and everything, and he's not so bad grappling now. He starts working a lot on his grappling and his ground skills. So I think it's 50-50. It depends how fight starts, how both of them will be prepared to the fight for each other, and I saw that Gane will be motivated a lot to the fight to get the belt. It's 50-50, but on the paper, when I fought with both of them, Aspinall looks better.
But then he added, in the fight, it could go either way.
But in the fight, it could be like in any ways.
Let's break down Volkov's experience with these guys. He fought Gane twice, June 2021 and UFC 310, losing both times by decision, with the second being a razor-thin split decision. He fought Aspinall at UFC London in March 2022 and got submitted in the first round.
Put you right back on your feet, just so you can take advantage of me. Tell me how's it feel, sitting up there, feeling so high, but too far away to hold me. You know I'm the...
So, even though Volkov had more competitive fights with Gane, he's still giving Aspinall the edge on paper. That tells you everything you need to know about how dangerous the British champion really is. Aspinall recently made a bold statement about his training partner and genuine friend, Delia, who just made his UFC debut and beat a top 10 opponent at UFC Paris last month with a brutal stoppage. Aspinall said that if Elijah works his way up to a title shot, which could be just 2 to 3 wins away, he would vacate the belt rather than fight his friend. Let me repeat that. The heavyweight champion of the world would give up his title rather than fight his training partner. In his words, if I never won a title, I never touched gold before, we'd have to fight. Because that was my dream. But now that I've done it, I'd vacate and he could have his time. I wouldn't fight him. No chance. He's one of my genuine friends, and there's some stuff to me that's more important than money and titles.
So the thing is, if I'd never won a title, I'd never touched gold before, we would have to fight, because that's my dream.
Yeah.
Well, now I've done it, I would be like, I'll vacate it and he can have his time.
Fair. Really? So if it came to it, you're just not fighting him?
I wouldn't fight him. No chance.
Fair.
No chance.
Damn. Fucking
No.
props.
That's my
really?
Yeah. That's, so I've got guys who I train with, of course, and I've trained with them for years and stuff. And I've got other guys who are my genuine friends.
Yeah.
And he's one of my genuine friends. I would never there's some stuff to me that's more important than
And speaking of training partners, Aspinall also trains with Phil DeFries, who was cut from the UFC over a decade ago, but has gone on to record 12 consecutive heavyweight title defenses in KSW. That's the level of talent Aspinall surrounds himself with daily. Now, we've got to talk about the elephant in the room, or should I say the GOAT in the Twitter feed. So let's break this down. What do we actually have here? Aspinall's advantages. Lightning fast finisher with minimal tape to study 100% focused on fighting, no distractions. Home advantage with the British fan base. Currently ranked number 8 pound-for-pound momentum as the newly crowned undisputed champion. Gains advantages. Former interim champion with title fight experience. Vastly improved grappling game. Exceptional striking and movement. Highly motivated to reclaim championship status. Experience against top-level competition. What do you think? Is Aspinall's secret weapon enough to defend his title? Or will Gane's improved ground game and motivation shock the world? Drop your predictions in the comments below. If you enjoyed this breakdown, smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you never miss our fight coverage.
So surgery is everywhere, every time around us. So no worries, Tom Aspinall. You're gonna come in back stronger, really, my man.
Ciryl Gane's shocking statements about his preparation for UFC 321, how Jon Jones inadvertently helped him get ready for Tom Aspinall, and the massive bombshell message Bongaman just sent to the British heavyweight champion. Plus, we'll cover Aspinall's response and what his training partners are saying about this massive showdown. On October 25th at UFC 321 in Abu Dhabi, we're getting one of the most anticipated heavyweight title fights in recent memory. Tom Aspinall, the current undisputed UFC heavyweight champion, will make his first title defense against former interim champion Ciryl Gane.
Last minute. Full clock stop. Last minute. Full clock stop.
Now, here's where it gets interesting. This isn't Gane's first rodeo when it comes to heavyweight title fights. In fact, it's his third attempt at capturing undisputed gold. His first shot came at UFC 270 against Francis Ngannou. That didn't go his way. His second came at UFC 285 against Jon Jones, and that one lasted just one round before Jones submitted him. So Gane comes into this fight with everything to prove. He's the underdog, he's faced criticism about his ground game, and he's got the weight of 2 previous title fight losses on his shoulders. But according to his recent statements, he's more ready than ever before. Here's where things get explosive. At a recent press conference in Paris, Ciryl Gane delivered a message that should have Tom Aspinall and his entire team paying attention. Let me read you exactly what he said through his translator. Sometimes life is a little bit strange because of some bad results, and then people think that you've never worked on your ground game, on your grappling. But believe me, as someone who's come from Thai boxing as well, I've got a team behind me. My coach, Fernand Lopez, we've worked on our ground game. These are experts. We know exactly what we're doing. Sometimes I've not been able to show it, and that's on me, but this time, believe me, I've been working, and hopefully I can show it this time around.
You know, sometimes life is a little bit strange because some bad results and then people think that you've never worked on your ground game, on your grappling, but believe me, as someone who's come from Thai boxing as well, I've got a team behind me by my coach, Fernand Lopez. We've worked on our ground game. These are experts. We know exactly what we're doing. Sometimes I've not been able to show it, and that's on me, but this time, believe me, I've been working, and hopefully I can show it this time around.
But here's the twist that nobody saw coming. Ciryl Gane is actually thanking Jon Jones for his loss at UFC 285. Now that might sound crazy, but hear me out. Gane recently explained that facing Jon Jones in such a high-pressure environment actually made preparing for Tom Aspinall easier. He said, and I quote, "All of that, the conference, the media, everything is heavy for the fighter. I remember against Francis. It was so heavy. It was not easy. Against Jon Jones, it was easier. So I'm sure for the next one, it's going to be easy."
At first, I think all of that, you see, the conference, the media, everything it's heavy for the fighter. And I remember against Francis, it was so heavy. It was not easy. And yeah, this is a good exercise because you must be prepared for that. This has had a little bit more pressure for the storytelling, everything. And yeah, I remember for Jon Jones it was easier, so I'm sure for the next one it's going to be easier.
Think about what he's saying here. The media pressure, the spotlight that comes with fighting a legend like Jon Jones. That was like a heavyweight championship boot camp for Gane's mind. He learned how to handle the pressure. He learned how to deal with the chaos surrounding a massive title fight. And now, he's approaching Aspinall with the experience of someone who's been through the fire twice before. That's a dangerous mindset for any challenger to have. Gane isn't just physically prepared, he's mentally fortified in a way he wasn't before. Now, Gane isn't underestimating Tom Aspinall. In fact, he's very respectful of what the champion brings to the table. He acknowledged that Aspinall will come up with answers to his unique fighting style, saying, "I think Tom has the answer already. He knows I'm a little bit of a different fighter in the division, but I fight in a different way. But I'm sure that Tom will be able to come up with an answer if he's thrown to it."
I think Tom has the answer already. He knows I'm a little bit of a different fighter in the division, but I fight in a different way, but I'm sure that Tom will be able to come up with an answer if he's thrown to it.
But here's the key. Gane is confident that he's ready for whatever Aspinall brings. He's spent months specifically preparing for Aspinall's submissions and takedowns. Remember, Tom Aspinall is one of the most well-rounded heavyweights we've ever seen. He can knock you out or submit you in the blink of an eye. Gane knows this, his team knows this, and they've been drilling for it nonstop since March. That's the kind of dedication and focus that turns underdogs into champions. Tom Aspinall's camp isn't sitting idle while Gane makes these bold statements. Martin Buday, a heavyweight fighter who trains regularly with Aspinall's team, recently gave his prediction for the fight. And it's not good news for Gane. Buday said, "I love Tom Aspinall and his team. I'm really looking up to that fight. I will be cheering for Tom. I think he will secure a spectacular win and finish and defend the title."
Like, I love Tom Aspinall and like his team, his father, like everyone in that team. So I'm really looking up to that fight, and I will be cheering for Tom. I think he will secure like a spectacular win and finish in that and like defend the title.
And get this, if everything goes according to plan for Team Aspinall, they could potentially hold heavyweight belts across multiple major promotions. Tom Aspinall with the UFC title, Phil DeFries with the KSW belt, and potentially Buday capturing the Octagon MMA Heavyweight Championship. That would be absolutely insane. Now, as for Tom Aspinall himself, while the champion hasn't made extensive public statements about Gane's recent comments, his confidence is clear. Aspinall has been calling for this fight for a long time. And now that he finally has Gane across from him, he's ready to prove why he's the undisputed champion. Aspinall knows that Gane is a dangerous, technical striker with incredible movement for a heavyweight, but he also knows that Gane has shown vulnerabilities on the ground, exactly where Aspinall excels. The British champion has some of the fastest hands and feet in the heavyweight division, combined with elite-level grappling. Everything he's worked for comes down to October 25th in Abu Dhabi. Can he prove that his ground game has truly improved? Can he implement his striking against someone as dynamic as Aspinall? Can he handle the pressure of a third title shot? For Tom Aspinall, this is about legitimacy. This is his first defense of the undisputed title, and he's facing a former interim champion who's battle-tested at the highest level. A dominant win over Gane would cement Aspinall's status as the true king of the heavyweight division. The stakes couldn't be higher for both men. So there you have it, fight fans. Ciryl Gane is coming into UFC 321 with a chip on his shoulder, thanking Jon Jones for preparing him for this moment, and sending a clear message to Tom Aspinall. You haven't seen the real me yet. Meanwhile, Team Aspinall is predicting a spectacular finish, and the champion himself is ready to defend his throne. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of our UFC 321 coverage. We'll be bringing you all the latest updates, predictions, and analysis leading up to fight night. Until next time, fight fans, stay ready, stay hungry, and I'll see you in the next one.
Да.
Don't leave him hanging then, not one. Thank you, John.
Body early. Trying to drop it. Nice big angle start. He's defended 2 takedowns. He's chipping away. Never going to learn to be able to get back to the feet. Still on the feet. There's no urgency.
Eso completo. Un golpe, digamos, a un reaction al 100%. Va a sacarlo, lo queda atrás.
Who is coaching Spivak. So that's really good. Against Ciryl. Look at that. Ciryl not going to disengage.
Para everything in these shots. Mira esa potencia. Desde arriba y el codo de la cabeza. ¡Impresionante! ¡Qué buen codo! Primero.
Here we go. Big trouble. Second now. Big shots, but Ciryl shots like Gane.
In a massive bombshell statement that sent shockwaves through the MMA world, Ciryl Gane has declared that his upcoming fight against Tom Aspinall is going to be easy to prepare for, and it's all thanks to Jon Jones's spotlight on the British champion. Let's start with the bombshell that has everyone talking. Ciryl Gane, the former interim heavyweight champion, has made a stunning declaration about his preparation for Tom Aspinall, claiming the fight will be easy to get ready for and crediting Jon Jones for making it possible. In a recent interview, Gane revealed his mindset heading into his third shot at heavyweight gold. All of that, the conference, the media, everything is heavy for the fighter. I remember against Francis, it was so heavy. For Jon Jones, it was easier, so I'm sure for the next one, it's going to be easy.
At first, I think all of that, you see, the conference, the media, everything it's heavy for the fighter. And I remember against Francis, it was so heavy. It was not easy. And yeah, this is a good exercise because you must be prepared for that. This has had a little bit more pressure for the storytelling, everything. And yeah, I remember for Jon Jones, it was easier. So I'm sure for the next one, it's going to be easier.
But here's where it gets interesting. Gane's confidence stems from his experience under the Jon Jones spotlight, having already faced the pressure of fighting Bones at UFC 285. The French striker believes he's now battle-tested for the biggest stage. Tom Aspinall is the new generation. He's a tough guy, well-rounded, but I'm also a good fighter, Gane stated. It's going to be a beautiful matchup.
Well-rounded, so yeah, he's a good fighter. I'm also a good fighter, so it's going to be a beautiful matchup. It's going to be a beautiful matchup. He's going to have his tactic, I'm going to have mine. So yeah, I can't wait. I'm really excited about this challenge.
This confidence is striking considering Gane enters as a significant underdog against Aspinall, who opened as a -350 betting favorite. The MMA Twitter sphere has absolutely exploded following Gane's comments, with fans and fighters weighing in on what many are calling either supreme confidence or dangerous overconfidence. Retired UFC welterweight Matt Brown didn't hold back, stating, "The heavyweight division is on the line. If Gane goes in and beats him, the heavyweight division loses a lot of respect."
The heavyweight division is on the line. If Gane goes in and beats him, no disrespect to Gane, love the guy. The heavyweight division loses a lot of respect, even if Tom goes out there and it's a close.
Brown went further, suggesting this is exactly what Jon Jones was hoping for. Jon's going to be on his phone with Twitter open watching this fight, just waiting for Tom to mess up. This is the situation Jon was craving the whole time.
Jon's going to be on his phone with Twitter open watching this fight, like just waiting for Tom to fuck up and get dropped, get leg kicked and limping a little bit. Or, you know what I mean? Jon can't wait for that moment.
Fans are split down the middle. Team Gane supporters are rallying behind his experience and striker's confidence. Aspinall fans are calling it premature celebration. Many are questioning if Gane is underestimating the British champion's well-rounded skill set. The UFC 321 has been trending, with over 50,000 tweets in the past 24 hours alone. You can't talk about this fight without addressing the elephant in the room, Jon Jones. The former heavyweight champion's decision to retire and relinquish his title has created this entire scenario. Interestingly, Gane wasn't frustrated by the year-long delay caused by the Jones-Aspinall saga. "I was not frustrated. I got my experience. We stayed focused, stayed professional, and trusted the work of UFC."
And no, I was not frustrated. I got my experience. I did already 1 year without fight because of the COVID, because the people canceled the fight. We stay every time we stay focused. we stay professional, and we trust to the work of the UFC. And we're just waiting at the gym, keep training, and this is exactly what we did.
But here's the kicker. UFC analyst Din Thomas believes Jones deliberately delayed to gather intelligence. Jon is a chess player. He's collecting as much information on Tom Aspinall as possible. We haven't seen Tom in a lot of tough spots.
Jon is a chess player. You gotta think about this. He's a very intellectual chess player. And he's trying to collect as much information on Tom Aspinall as possible. Exactly. We haven't really seen him in a lot of tough spots.
Jones became the second longest reigning UFC heavyweight champion despite having only one title defense, a record that many view as controversial given his avoidance of the Aspinall unification bout. Now, with Jones out of the picture, both fighters know this is their moment to prove who truly deserves to be called the undisputed heavyweight king. So how has Tom Aspinall responded to Gane's bold claims? The Manchester native has remained characteristically composed, but don't mistake that for lack of confidence. At the recent UFC Paris press conference, Aspinall faced a hostile French crowd supporting Gane, getting booed throughout the event. But one thing surprised the champion during their face-off. He's not as tall as I remember, Aspinall noted, revealing Gane isn't actually taller than him as many assume. I thought he was quite a bit taller than me, but he isn't.
He's not as tall as I remember. I thought he was a bit taller than me.
You got your IL trainers on?
No, got my flats on, look at them.
Oh, yeah.
Got my flats on.
Yeah.
I thought he was quite a bit taller than me, but he isn't, is he?
UFC legend Michael Bisping, who hosted the press conference, felt Aspinall should have been more aggressive with the hostile crowd. He should have said, "Hey, all you French fans, enjoy this moment because I'm going to knock Ciryl Gane out. Then you can all shut up."
What he should have said was, "Hey, all you French fans, enjoy this moment right here because it ain't going to last because I'm going to knock Ciryl Gane out just like I have done everybody else. And then you can all shut the f*** up."
But Aspinall's record speaks for itself. He holds the record for shortest average fight time and has never been taken past the second round. His finishing ability is undeniable, with spectacular wins over Sergey Pavlovich, Curtis Blades, and Alexander Volkov. Let's break down what's actually at stake when these two heavyweights collide on October 25th at Abu Dhabi's Etihad Arena. For Aspinall, this represents his first title defense as undisputed champion. At 15-3, he's looking to cement his legacy and prove he's not just an interim champion who got lucky.
Last minute. Foot drop stuff. Last minute. Foot drop stuff.
Low kick as well.
Jon Jones has stated publicly he wants to fight at the White House. Even last week he was at the Grammys or some shit like that, and he was on the red carpet speaking about how he's back testing and he's ready to fight at the White House. But Dana seems more stern in not letting him today than I have ever seen him in regards to Jon Jones. I remember when he canceled that fight against Chael, Dana said he'll never headline again. This time he seems like he is not going to back down and allow for him to be on his White House card. And if I'm being completely honest, I don't know that I agree. I think I would let him fight. I think if he wants to fight, I would let him fight because for as much as mixed martial arts is a global sport, and it's a sport that everybody loves, and we support people from all around the world, at the end of the day, when we're fighting at the White House, you want American people that can win at the end of the night. Imagine if we're on the White House lawn and the Americans aren't winning fights. And that could happen because when the opening line for McGregor versus Chandler comes out, Chandler's going to be a pretty substantial underdog, as he should be. Even though Conor hasn't fought in forever, he will still be the favorite to beat Michael Chandler. I believe that you got to let him fight, man. I think that you put some things in his contract that makes it very costly to not follow through.
Donald Trump mentioned that he wanted to have a fight at the White House Garden. That just seems like such a huge opportunity. I'm a very proud American. I have a lot of close friends that are in the military. Just to be able to entertain the country and the world at this level at the White House, it just means the world to me. So I'm back.
Daniel Cormier and Jon Jones just dropped a bombshell message to UFC CEO Dana White, and it's all about Jon Jones. In his words, if I'm being completely honest, I don't know that I agree with White. I think I'd let him fight. That's right, one of Jon Jones's greatest rivals, a man who spent years feuding with him inside and outside the octagon, is now standing by his side. Cormier says Dana White is wrong about shutting the door on Jones fighting at the UFC's historic White House event next year, and even Jones himself is making it clear. Despite the odds, I'm still training and optimistic about the possibility of being part of the White House event. This is the story of unlikely alliances, broken trust, and the fight for history on the South Lawn of the White House.
How do I look, DC? Hey, that's all just, hey, listen, that's all just for show. I look like I'm not a crackhead with a suit on. With that? You look like a crackhead with a suit on. I could look like a crackhead with a suit on, but I've never been a crackhead like you know. So you can say I look like one, but I've never been one. I've never been one.
Daniel Cormier versus Jon Jones is one of the greatest rivalries in UFC history. They brawled at press conferences, insulted each other on live TV, and battled twice in the cage. Yet now, in 2025, Cormier is putting the rivalry aside for something bigger. America's image on the biggest stage the UFC has ever had. Speaking on his YouTube channel, Cormier said, "If I'm being completely honest, I don't know that I agree with White. I think I'd let him fight. I think if he wants to fight, I'd let him fight because for as much as mixed martial arts is a global sport, and it's a sport that everybody loves, and we support people from all around the world, at the end of the day, when you're fighting at the White House, you want American people that can win."
And if I'm being completely honest, I don't know that I agree. I think I would let him fight. I think if he wants to fight, I would let him fight because for as much as mixed martial arts is a global sport, and it's a sport that everybody loves, and we support people from all around the world, at the end of the day, when we're fighting at the White House, you want American people that can win.
Cormier argued that the UFC needs a strong American presence on the White House card. And right now, he says, Jones is the only American capable of delivering that win. He even pointed out, "We have no American guys in the top 10 of the pound for pound since Jon Jones retired. That's crazy. Come on, boss. It's me asking you to give Jon Jones a chance."
We have no American guys in the top 10 pound for pound right now since Jon Jones retired. That's crazy. Come on. Come on, boss. It's me asking you to give Jon Jones a chance. That's crazy.
For Cormier, it's not about friendship, it's about national pride. But Dana White doesn't see it that way. For months, the UFC boss has made it clear Jones is too risky. The arrests, failed drug tests, last-minute cancellations, White has seen it all. He even joked that the odds of Jones fighting on the White House card are 1,000,000,000 to 1. At UFC 318, White explained, "I can't risk putting him in big positions, in a big spot, and have something go wrong, especially the White House card."
Just wondered, at this point, is there anything in the next few months or several months that Jon could do where you could say, okay, I actually trust him to put him on that card?
Let me ask you, what do you think Jon would do in the next couple of months that would make me trust putting him on the White House card?
Well, I would not trust him, but I would like to see him fight Aspinall on that card down the road.
So I already said that I don't trust him, and you're asking me what could he do for me to trust him in the next 3 months? You don't trust him.
Well, yes, but you talk to him. I don't.
Yeah. No, I don't talk to him either. I haven't talked to him at all.
Well, there's a greater chance you'll talk to him than I'll talk to him.
Yeah. I would not bet on, if I had to make odds, it's 1,000,000,000 to 1 that I put Jon Jones on the White House card.
All right, I think that ends the questions on it.
Yeah.
And White has reason to be cautious. The UFC's only canceled event in history, outside of the pandemic, was because of Jon Jones. With the White House event set to be the most high-profile card ever, White says reliability comes first. Cormier doesn't deny Jones's history, but he thinks there's a way to manage it. His proposal? Put strict safeguards in Jones's contract. "I think you put some things in his contract that make it very costly to not follow through," Cormier suggested. "If you put Jon Jones on the White House card, say something happens in the law, and he has to be pulled from the card. $1 million. Say he just says he doesn't want to fight, $1 million. Say he gets injured, then it should be less, as long as the injury can be proven. But you put these safeguards in place to make sure that he shows up there.